and good evening. So series 5, I know, episode 4. Get down, I've got that down. Got that one right. And we've got Hammock on tonight. And before we start, I always have to say it because I get reminded, if you don't want to be recorded, could you please mute yourself or leave, because it's being recorded and under GDPR rules, we have to inform you of that. Anyway, great. So it's Wednesday evening, and we know what Wednesday evening. It used to be a Friday. We used to call it Crackerjack night. I'm showing my age now, aren't I? I really am just showing my age. I give up some days. So it's our webinar, and tonight we've got Hammock on, and we've got James, and is it Marco?
Yeah.
Tonight? Yeah. And Paul's going to help lead this one. So we're going to be taking you through the process of what Hammock does and how you can benefit from that. And you're going to show us an app, aren't you, James?
Yeah, I'm going to show you the web app, the mobile app, talk you through a really great deal we've got for your members as well.
Okay. And is that an exclusive deal for our LMPG members?
It certainly is. So don't tell anyone else.
Good. I'm looking forward to this. So over to you then, James. Let's hit it running straight away. Excellent.
Perfect. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, so hopefully you can all see this. So this is Hammock. So Hammock is a property finance platform for landlords. Now, we know we've got a lot of landlords on this call, and actually LMPG members tend to be some of the more organized and better set up landlords. But even then, you're still managing things on spreadsheets. You're still keeping paper receipts. It's still a bit of a pain. That is the problem that we're here to solve. Now, Hammock basically, because we link to your bank account in the middle here, we take the data for your properties and your tenancies, and then we can automate that so that we can actually start automating your bookkeeping and then giving you the interesting and useful insights that you need to help you with your taxes, and giving you property insights so you can understand your portfolio a bit better, and even make better decisions if you're looking to extend your portfolio or even reduce it, actually. So this is our core platform. Obviously these are the screenshots. I'm going to take you through the full the full platform in a second, but just want to mention that this is a cloud-based solution, so you can get this on your desktop, your laptop, and as you can see down here with these icons, we've also got our mobile apps as well on both iOS and Android. So you can basically manage this and have everything at your fingertips whenever you need to and on the go. Now, just quickly before I take you through the demo, because that is going to be the main part of this evening, I just want to talk you through the 4 key pillars that we can help you with. So the first one of which is banking. So you can connect your bank account up to our software, then all of your transactions come through. Then you can start categorizing them, linking them to the right property or the right tenant. And then Hammock's automation kicks in and starts tracking them for you. And which leads me to our second pillar, which is the bookkeeping. So once you kind of get set up on Hammock, most of your bookkeeping happens automatically. Hammock learns what your transactions look like. So rather than you having to update a spreadsheet, Hammock will actually just start telling you when your rent's been paid. We'll even tell you when your rent is late, and just generally showing you, how much money you're making per property, how much money you might be owed per tenant. The third pillar is property tax. So, I think all landlords know this is probably the most painful part of the job. Well, other than dealing with tenants, perhaps, but doing your taxes, it is a pain. I'm a landlord. I see everyone at Hammock really is a landlord. We built this for us because doing property tax is a pain. Always getting chased by my accountant for getting the data late, having to scrabble around to get it all together. Well, actually, Hammock puts this all in a package for you. I say automates most of the process and means that you actually don't have any stress because your accountant can just have automatic access and just take the data when they need it. And then the final...
sorry, James. And we also, because we don't like surprises, do we also give forecast of a tax. So you don't have to wait until the tax bill comes in and then get wrong-footed because it is higher than you thought. You are incentivized to put the money away as you work towards the end of the tax year.
Yeah, and actually that's actually a key point. So one of the main reasons our CEO Manoj actually built Hammock in the first place is because every year he would be surprised by his tax bill. So that actually comes from a very personal pain point of his that he realized must be shared by other people. So yeah, that is a really good point, Marco. And on the tax point, it's still 2 years away, but making tax digital is coming for landlords. What that means is rather than having this pain once a year, you've got to start doing this quarterly. So you've got to do your 4 quarterly assessment, and then you've got to do your annual submission as well. So, the workload is going up. But again, if you're using software, actually nothing really changes. Everything's happening automatically in real time. So when you need that data, you just send it straight to your accountant. Bit of a sneak peek in what's coming later. But right, so with that being said, hopefully I've set the scene a bit. But now what I really want to do is actually just take you through the platform. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to start you off here on the transaction screen. So as I said to you before, our first pillar of Hammock is banking. And what that means in reality is that you connect your bank account up to our software, and you can connect as many bank accounts as you like. And then as soon as you do that, we pull through all of your transactions, and we can pull up to 3 years. So, even if you signed up today, you can actually go all the way back to April 2020. If you haven't submitted your tax yet, and you can actually do that right now. You could start tonight if you wanted to. Once your transactions are feeding through, you can see some of these have already been tracked and categorized. So you can see the green category, and on the right-hand side in black, you can see the property or the tenant that it's linked to. And then it really is a case of just finding specific transactions. So I can search here. If I want to track, say, one of my rent payments, I know my tenant puts the letters TSB at the start of his payments. So if I search for TSB, I can see straight away, these are all my rent payments. And these go back to the start of the tenancy in December. So I can just click on any of these. As soon as I do that, this menu pops up on the right-hand side, asking me to select a category. Now, actually, for those of you who have seen Hammock before, I'm going to be showing you a lot of the new features that we've built in the last few months. And this is actually the first of them. So there's now actually a category search. It's actually less useful for income because obviously there's a lot more expense categories, but I can actually just search there, select rental income, and it finds it. And then I can just select my property. I've only got one tenant in there, so it automatically finds it, and I hit save. So you can see this bank transaction is now assigned as rental income for 23 New Church Road, and it's linked to the tenant James. But obviously I've got all these other payments here as well, and I want to track those. I don't want to have to go through them one at a time. So I actually can use these 2 options here, and I'm actually going to use this first one. So if I click search and track, all of these now become tickable. And because I've already filtered, I can just hit select all and then update 10 transactions. And so just as simply as that, I have now just tracked all my rent payments back to December. And as I said before, because Hammock learns, next month when James pays the rent, that will just track automatically, and I'll just get a notification both by email and on the mobile app letting me know that the rent's been paid. Equally, if the rent hasn't come in by the 28th of October, on the 29th, I'll also get a notification letting me know that it's late. And I think most landlords know the quicker you act on a late rent, the chances of you actually getting paid dramatically increase. So it's a really useful feature as well. Now,
James, can I just interrupt quickly, because I've got quite a good question here from AP. This example for 23 New Church Road is presumably for a whole house tenancy. But how does that work if for HMOs, where you've got several people with several probably different rental payments in the same property?
So that's absolutely fine. So I'll quickly jump.
Love this question.
This is a particularly good question. So I'll just, while I answer that, I'll jump over to the property screen. So when you do add a new property, you click in here, you just search for the postcode or the first line of the address, and then you can just select the property. Off you go. Now, one of the questions here is it an HMO? If it is, you then just put in the number of rooms. We'll add the property. And so you'll notice for all my other properties, these all just say occupied, whereas for 191, the one we've just added, it says 0 out of 4. And so I would actually add those tenancies individually. I would say for each tenant how much their rent is, and I would track that rent against that particular tenant in that particular room. Just as you can see here, by tracking those payments, I now suddenly get this really nice view where I can see exactly how much money I'm making per property. And you can see as soon as we added this property, it pulls an image directly from Google Street View, so you can see exactly what it is. And then once you're tracking, you get this really nice visibility, because maybe you've got 5 properties and you know that they all make money and you know how much your portfolio has made, but actually often you don't always know exactly how much each property is made. And one thing I find quite often, I'll ask a landlord, which is your best property? And almost always they think it's the one with the highest rent. But actually that isn't always the case, because you might have much higher expenses. So actually seeing here, how much profit you're making is really useful. But then equally to the HMO point, not just showing you on a property basis, we show you everything on a tenancy basis as well. So you can see I've got all my different tenants here. And James, this is the one we just tracked. So if I click into James, you can see here, James lives at 23 New Church Road. He pays £420 every month, starting in December. And so just based on that information alone, Hammock creates this rent table. So you can see every month what date it's due, how many transactions there have been, what rent was due, what was received, and then what's your outstanding balance. Now, obviously here you can see that James is a model tenant and pays on time every month, but even if it wasn't, these arrears balances are dynamic. So for example, if I quickly show you like Robert Green, you can see Robert's in arrears of 950 quid. If I quickly click on Robert, this is actually a really nice example of something we saw a lot during the pandemic. Rewind a year ago, you'd have a tenant who was paying on time every month, then suddenly misses a payment, falls into arrears. And then in this instance, what he's done, he's come to an agreement with the landlord that he's going to pay an additional £100 every month. And that's why his arrears balance is falling each month. And obviously, hopefully in another 9 months, he'll have paid all of that off. But yeah, without doing anything, you just know exactly where you stand. Now, that kind of brings me on to another really cool new feature, but also a question that I'm sure a few of you are probably asking right now. You're thinking, okay, great, that's how you track rent when you manage it yourself, but I use a letting agent. Does this work for me? And the answer is yes. And if I click on this tenancy here, the only difference between this tenancy and the one I just showed you is that when I added this tenancy, there was a question, do you use a letting agent service? And I said, yes, I do. And I've said, look, my rent is £400 every month, but my fees are, 10% plus VAT or whatever it is, and it calculates out at 53.65. So in this example, whilst I'm actually getting paid £400 rent, the amount that actually hits my bank account is more like £346. And Hammock can handle that automatically. So you'll notice here for like September and October, I haven't actually tracked a payment. So I'll quickly show you, how that works and how we display that for you. So let's jump back to the transaction screen. And let's find that September payment. So here we go. And by the way, I should say, this is all dummy data. So you could ignore the fact that this says child tax credit. Just imagine that's the name of my letting agent, I guess. But this is the amount we're interested in, 346.35. So this is just a regular month where my tenants have paid the rent, the agent takes the fee, and they transfer it across to me. And if I just click on that and I say, right, this is rental income, select the property, hit save. The key difference you'll notice here, whereas before just said rental income for whichever property, here it says multiple track transactions. And then we actually break this out for you so you can see exactly how that's split out. So that 346 gets assigned as rental income. Then we automatically create the letting agent fees as an expense. And then to offset that expense, we top the rent up by the same amount. So that net, these two together equal your £400 in. And this £53 is your expenses out. So when it comes to do your, well, A, to look at your P&L, but B, to do your taxes, all your figures are correct without you having to actually do anything. And then again, I don't know if I'm preempting a question here, but you're probably then thinking, okay, well, what about if 1 month there are some repairs on the property or something like that? If we just jump ahead to October, and let's imagine this 137.60 this is actually my October rent because there was some, maybe they had to fix the roof. So with this one, this wouldn't track automatically, but I can do this really quickly myself. I just click on it. Again, I say this is rental income, select the property, and without doing anything, Hammock already knows that this rent is less than expected. Do you want to create an expense for the remaining £208? And I can just say, yes, I do. I can then pick the category. It can be anything. Usually it's going to be some kind of fees or maintenance. So I can just select maintenance. Again, what type of maintenance is it? Let's go with repairs. Hit save. And again, you can see here, it's created the letting agent fees and top the rent up, but it's also created this repairs expense automatically and top the rent up. So again, £400 in, and then you've got your expenses going out. So one of the new features is this way of displaying this out and splitting it out for you. But also, for any of these transactions, you can then add a note for your accountant or for yourself and attach an invoice or a receipt. So I can just go in here and I can just say, roof needed fixing, the receipt details, hit save. And then if I want to, I can actually attach the receipt. So I just click there, and if my letting agent has emailed me the invoice, I can just drag and drop that in here. Or if I've saved it down already, I can just find it on my computer and save that down. And actually that brings me on to another really cool new feature. So one thing I mentioned in the initial presentation is that everything you see here is also available on a mobile app. So one of the new features we've just added is that when you're tracking your transactions, you can actually just take a photo of the receipt and attach it straight to the transaction. So I'm going to show you that now. So I'm just going to stop sharing on here and I'm going to start sharing on my
Are you
phone.
going over to the app now, James?
I am indeed.
While you process that, I've got a couple of questions that have come through. So I think now is probably a good time. So Nicola's asked, does Hammock cater for commercial properties too? She's got a mix of both residential and commercial.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that one more time?
Does Hammock cater for commercial properties too? She's got a mix of both residential and commercial.
So you can handle commercial property. You can handle anything that pays rent. The only thing we can't do is we're not set up for VAT. But beyond that, you can track anything. You would just add them into a different portfolio that's for your commercial properties. I'll actually take you through the portfolios in just a second. And let me go into the app. So one sec. Okay, so hopefully you can see that.
Yep.
I'm just going to jump across to my Hammock app. So everything I've just shown you is in this app. I say I haven't actually taken you through the overview screen, but it's all in here. You can see all your property information, see your P&L, your arrears, etc. And then if we jump over to the bank feed, this is all my transactions for any bank accounts that I've connected. And you can just scroll through and track and categorize. And let's take this transaction here, parkretail.co.uk for £550. So I've already marked this as maintenance. So you can see if I click on that, you can see I've already marked that as maintenance for 14 Oxford Avenue. And again, just like I showed you on the web app, I can add a note or add a receipt. So I'm just going to click add receipt and then take a picture. And it goes straight into my phone. And let's just say I'm going to take a picture of this document. So just take that photo, hit choose photo and upload. And just like that, just give that 1 second. Yeah, just like that, it's attached. And then you can access that anytime you want. And I'll show you that in the document section in a second. It seems to be going a bit slow because we're over Zoom. But yeah, and also your accountant can access that as well. There we go. It's coming through my yeah. There you go. I think just because we're sharing over Zoom, everything's a bit slower. But then you can see your receipt here, and equally, if you want to add a note, you just click add note, and you can type it in there as well. So yeah, so everything. I say everything you can see here is also available on the mobile app. Now I'm going to try and just switch back. Just give me 1 second.
So is the app a sort of simplified version? Do you get a little bit more on the web page?
You get some. You do get some additional features. All the kind of day-to-day things that you would need to do are on the mobile app. I think what I always say to people is get set up on the web app first. And then once you're set up, in terms of managing your transactions, you really can just be sat on the sofa, scrolling through your transaction list, linking them, tracking them, etc. And the other great thing about the mobile app is you get your push notifications. So when your rent comes in, we'll notify you. When your rent's late, we'll notify you. When your gas certificate needs to be renewed, we notify you. So yeah, it's really useful for doing anything on the go.
The great advantage with that is that our notifications, because they come off the Hammock app, come with all the information about the property and the tenant, if relevant. So you don't just get notifications about money in, money out, or you got something that you need to remember. You get everything linked to this tenant has paid you this amount for this property, and their arrears balance is 0, or their arrears balance is different than 0, and you got something to do here. So you are really prompted to act when it's necessary. So that's a big advantage of having it on your phone.
And yeah, so that kind of takes us through the first 2 pillars, which is obviously the banking and the bookkeeping. So the third one is tax. And actually the question you had about commercial property kind of plays in here. So one thing I kind of want to highlight here, if I go back to the property screen, and if I scroll down here, well, at the top here, you can see I've actually got 3 portfolios and 5 properties. And that's because, this 11 Newcastle Road, this is linked to a portfolio that I own with my wife. So she owns 75% and I own 25%. These next ones are in my personal name because I own them outright 100%. And then this final one is in my limited company, and I can set that up. And so when it comes to taxes, although I'm managing all of my properties within one account, when we jump over to the tax statement screen, it's all separated just the way you need it to be. So whether your accountant is accessing this or whether you're doing it yourself, you've got your different portfolios and everything is completely segregated. So if I take you into like my personal portfolio, I just click on here, it will take me through, and you can see at the top, I own 100% of this portfolio. I've got 3 properties in here. I can then filter this by tax year. I can even filter this by property if I really want to go granular. I then get the summary of my overall position, really just, what is my taxable income, what are my taxable expenses. We then extrapolate all your data out and give you, to Marco's point before, a forecast estimation of next year's tax bill. So you kind of know what you're doing. You can also, it defaults to a 40% rate of tax, but you can change that if you're a different rate. Just click on that and all the figures will update for you. Then we give you and your accountant the individual totals that they need to submit your self-assessment tax return. And I'd say this is all stuff that you're going to have to start doing 4 times a year. So you really don't want to have to be calculating this stuff yourself. And then underneath that, all the transactions that I have linked to this portfolio appear here. And that's done by date, by category, and by property. And this whole page, so the summary, the subtotals, and the transactions is all downloadable as a spreadsheet if I want to. And I can even download it with all of those notes that I've added on any of my transactions. So, this is a new feature since last time, actually being able to see the different portfolios separately. The other new feature, which I won't show you here, which I've alluded to a few times, is our accountant dashboard. So your accountant, if you've got a Hammock subscription, your accountant gets access to this for free to your account. They'll see your account in their own dashboard. They can go in, see everything that you can see. And then when it does come time to submit, when Making Tax Digital comes in, they will be able to submit your figures directly through Hammock, getting you fully ready. So, that's the tax side of things. Actually, one thing I will quickly show you, let's just dive into this second portfolio, which is me and my wife, because this is quite a cool new feature as well. I think I mentioned, so this portfolio I've set up, my wife owns 75% and I own 25%. So you can see at the top here, James only owns 25% here. So whilst you get all the same figures, and we show you what 100% of your taxable expenses are, for example, what it highlights is my 25%. So, you know, so it can add my 25% here to my 100% in the other one. And that's the number I need to submit. But equally, if I want to do pennies as well, I just click over to penny. This will update, and this shows me then all the figures for penny. So again, both of us can manage everything from this one account. So that's, you know, that's the tax side of things. And so it will ultimately save you a ton of time and save your accountant a ton of time. But that moves us on then, I guess, to our final pillar, which is our property insights. So the first one I'm going to show you, again, another new feature since last time. We've added a number of different reports to make.
Actually, James, just to qualify what you're saying, the reason why James keeps saying this is a new feature, this is a new feature, is not because we have just created this a week ago. It's just because we do release something new every single week. So at any given point, if you go away for a month or so and come back, you will find at least 4 or 5 new things. So, you know, it's been a while since we spoke with you guys the last time. So we got a lot of new things to show. It's
been 31 weeks, Marco.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. How many have we gone through so far? Like at least 7 or 8 new things? There's more. Yeah.
In 31 weeks, I would estimate there's probably been 50 new features, I would imagine, in that time. But yeah, but really the ones I'm showing you are kind of the more bigger high ticket items. And this is certainly one of them. So this is like a whole new set of reporting that we can do. So you can really analyze your figures. And also just, yeah, again, get a better understanding of where you're spending your money, why some months are better than others, why some properties are better than others. So we've got a number of different reports here. You've got your general ledger, your income statement, your cash flow, your rent roll, and your tenant ledger. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just show you the general ledger. So with this, if you want to drill down and look at this property by property, you can do. If you want to just look at on a portfolio level, you can as well. But again, everything by tax year. So if I go back and look at my last tax year, I can actually scroll through here month by month and scroll across. And see every month, right, what's my income situation? What's my mortgage expenses? How much am I spending on maintenance? My insurance costs, utilities, fees. You know, you can really get a granular look all the way down to your net income. And you can actually start understanding, you know, why am I making more money here? Why am I losing money there? And for those of you who are actually looking to expand your portfolios, you know, and you're going for lending, having some kind of cash flow forecast is often what they will ask you for, and showing them these type of reports so you can actually show them that this is how much money I make each month. I understand my property business, and this is why you should lend to me. This is really, really powerful. So that's one thing. I'm now going to jump over to the overview screen. It is exactly what it says on the tin. It's an overview. And again, all of this is on the mobile app as well. So the first new feature I'm going to talk about here is we now provide up-to-date valuation estimates for your properties. So we pull data from about 8 different sources, you know, everything from like Zoopla, Rightmove, Land Registry, etc. And you can see here I've got two new properties in here to confirm. So I just click confirm valuation. Just on the address alone, it will give me a rough estimate. But if I click here where it says estimated valuation, I can add a bit more information here. So let's say this is a 3-bed, semi-detached, click get valuation, and then it will update. And then obviously I just put in my purchase price, or mortgage balance. I don't know if that's too many zeros. I think that was too many zeros. And then save that, and so I can do the second property as well. In fact, I will do it just so you can see the loan to value. So once we do that, we then track your loan to value across your portfolio. Again, really key figure. If you are looking to expand your portfolio, you need to know how levered you are. So we help you with that. If I scroll down, you know, we show you occupancy, upcoming payments, the rental yields. This is another new feature. So we give you this table comparing the rental yields on each of your properties. Now, the yield we give here is based on your current valuation, because that is what we would always recommend. It's it's what you should be using, but so many landlords were asking for it. If you click here, you can also see your yield based on your purchase price as well. So you get both options. And I guess all of this ties in quite nicely. This idea of property insights, understanding your portfolio, this ties in really nicely to a special offer that we've got for you. So actually, let me just dive back to the presentation and talk to you a little bit about the offer that we've got for LMPG members. So the first part of this offer is that you get 50% off of our regular pricing. So we have a number of different packages here. Our starter package is very basic. It's really, if you've just got one property and you're just getting started, then you can use that. Most people on this call, I imagine, will be in one of these two. So our advanced would usually be £5 a month plus VAT, but with LMPG you get 50% off, so it's just £249. Similarly, our pro package, if you've got 4 to 10 properties, would usually be £9.99 a month. You guys get it for £4.99. And for those of you, if anyone is on this call who has more than 10 properties, at that point, it's just £1 per property. So if you've got 20 properties, it would be £20 a month. But again, LMPG, 50% off. You would only be paying £10 a month.
And the reason why we were so happy about the question about HMOs is because when you read properties here, one HMO counts as one property for us. So even if you have 5 rooms, you still pay just for one with Hammock. Yeah, it's very competitive.
Yeah, as far as I know, we are the only software who doesn't do it by tenancy. We just do it by property. So we are very popular with HMOs. The second part of this deal is that if you come in, because as an LMPG member, you don't even actually need, if you don't want all the features that I just showed you, you don't actually need to pay a monthly subscription. What you can get is a portfolio review, and that is available to all LMPG members, and it's free. So all you need to do is you just register for a Hammock account, you add your properties, and then we will provide you with some in-depth reports, and you'll book a call with us, and we'll take you through them. So, and I'll give you an example of that. So if we look in here at my property list, I've got my property here, Franklin Road. And if I jump across here, this is our Hammock report for Franklin Road. And I'll just quickly take you through this. So first of all, we show you where it is on the map. This view here is probably more useful for properties that you're looking at buying, but it will just tell you, are you near any busy roads? Whereabouts are you in the street? We then take you through an overview of your property, all the key metrics, broadband, mobile signals, what TV you can get, recent property price purchases, etc. We can then help you review your EPC, let you know, ways that you can potentially improve it, and start saving money on your bills and make your property more energy efficient. You've got all the planning.
The EPC is one that landlords will have to pay more attention in the future, because in a couple of years, the government will raise the bar for the minimum EPC rating. So that's one thing that we are keeping an eye on actively, and it's good that it's included in the report, so it gives you an idea also of what kind of work you may be planning for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so I think, to Marcus' point, if you are in like F and G or something like that, then there's every chance that when the new rules come in, you will need to improve that. So it's probably something you want to get started on earlier, sooner rather than later. So we can show you a detailed report of any planning history that's happened in the area. So, if you are maybe thinking of doing some kind of extension, and if you can see that someone in the local area has already had permission for that, obviously, that you're going to be in a much better position. We can also, give you a housing price estimate, but also show you how prices are moving for different types of properties in your area. All the recent, anything that's sold recently, so you can see as recently as February 21, everything in the nearby street, how much they've gone for, and what type of property they are. We give you schools data, so like what's in your local area, all for different education levels and different, standards. We give you transport, so you can see these are like bus stops near the property, ferry terminals. So these are kind of your minor or local transport. We also show you your major as well, so any train stations, trunk, motorways, and airports. And so you'll get one of these reports for all of your properties. You can then do a call with one of our team who will take you through this and hopefully help you understand your whole portfolio a little better. And for those of you who do end up going on and thinking, actually, with the 50% off and all these additional features, I actually want to start using Hammock monthly, then any properties you're ever looking at in the future, just send us the address and we'll send you one of these reports. So again, you can be making more informed decisions, even when you're looking to purchase new properties. So I think this is going to be a really nice add-on, and something that, again, will just get you in the mindset of just really understanding your portfolio. So
James, you mentioned on a call before this that the version we're looking at now is kind of an interactive online one. But this is also available as a PDF, right?
It is, yeah. So you can have either. You just let us know, do you want this as a PDF, or do you just want us to send you a link which you can then access anytime you want from any device you want? So so I mean, that is that's the presentation, that's the offer. If anyone is interested, this is how you access the offer. If you see at the bottom of the page here, just head to our website, usehammock.com/LMPG. I believe somebody will be putting this in the chat. Just go in there, you can book a call with us, and we'll get you all set up. And if you do want to email us, you can also, it's hello@usehammock.com. But so any questions or anything else? I'm happy to help.
Questions to build up, James, and I was looking for chances throughout, but you talk very quickly. Never noticed it before.
Sorry, I had a lot to get through.
Just go back to the prices quickly, mate. Now, are these the LMPG prices, or are these the standard prices that LMPG?
These are the LMPG prices. So this is
right.
But the starter package is the same for everyone, just the £1 one. For the other plans, you have 50% off.
Lovely. And I've got a couple of questions from members as well. So firstly, Ian has mentioned, just jumping back to banking very quickly, he said, Hammock doesn't connect to my bank account yet. If I exported my statement as a CSV file, could Hammock import that in the same way as if it was getting it directly from the bank to identify transactions and categories and so on?
Yeah, great question. So that is coming very soon. So I actually believe it may even be coming this quarter. So before the end of the year, we will have a CSV upload. One thing I didn't cover here, which may or may not be interesting to Ian, is that whilst open banking is by far and away the most common way of using Hammock, just because it is so easy, we do also issue our own current accounts. So if he does really want to use Hammock, then obviously he can open a current account with us. It is included. You can see in these two packages that the current account is included. That means it's fully integrated with the software. And the other difference with the current account is that you would never need to reconnect it. It's always there, and transactions occur in real time. So it might be something you want to look at.
When you do get the CSV upload, can I just ask a favor? Can you let us know at LMPG, because I think that's worthwhile sharing with the membership, because that's a bit of a game changer, really.
Yeah, I mean, I say that there's very few banks that we don't integrate with, so it's not something that I think most people. But if you do have users who don't want to connect the bank or whatever, then that is definitely going to be a cool feature. So I imagine Marco is probably making note of that now.
So we'll make sure that we post it on the group, but also for anyone who does sign up to get the portfolio review. You will get weekly updates from us as well, so you will know when that happens. But I'll make sure that we post it on the group so everyone knows.
Okay, lovely, thank you. Nikki's asked, if you are uploading all bank transactions, what do you do with those that are not linked to the rental?
Okay, so let me just jump back in here. So just to check I understand that, is she asking about like cash transactions that happen outside the bank, or transactions in that bank account that don't relate to properties?
I would assume, James, because I'm just reading the question, I would assume it's transactions within the same account that just don't relate to the property. Okay,
well, I might answer both of these anyway, just in case. But to the first one. So to use this example, you can see that there's transactions here that are not categorized. So they just say click to track. So you can just leave them like that. They will then not feed your P&L. They will not feed your tax statement. They are ignored for the purposes of Hammock. So you don't have to do anything. Now, having said that, if you have, say, a property account that only has a couple of transactions in there that are personal, and you kind of want to categorize them just for completeness sake, then of course you can do that. You just click on the transaction. I haven't actually done an expense before, but you've got all these different expense categories. And just down here, you've got personal, and it's the same on an incoming transaction. So I can just mark that as personal. Don't even need to link it to a property. And there you go. It's just marked as personal, and then that won't feed your P&L. It won't feed your tax statement, and you're covered.
You showed us a filtering system earlier on. Could you then filter by personal or impersonal, I guess?
Yes, you can filter by all sorts of things up here. You can filter by bank account, by transaction type, by category. And if you go down here, I can just click on personal, and then it will only show me transactions that have been marked as personal. To the second point of that question, where I wasn't sure if they were asking about that or whether they were talking about maybe cash payments, then obviously I'll just clear this filter. Any other transactions, if you pay for something in cash or not in this bank account, you can add that manually as well. Let's just imagine, I've just had to get some new keys for one of my properties, and I paid in cash. So I did it today. It cost £10. It was a replacement of item. So I'll just search on here, replacement of items for 23 New Church, and it was a one-off payment. So I can add that into Hammock, and you'll see straight away, it now appears in the transaction list. So you've got new keys, replacement of items, £10, but the key difference here, it says manual instead of bank. So both you and, again, if you're sharing this with your accountant, you both know that this is something that was a cash payment. And again, even with manual payments, you can filter on those. If you just go filter on manual, it will show you anything in here that's a manual payment.
Brilliant, thank you.
Sorry, it's also a question, because I don't think we said it before, but all our categories are in line with the SA 105 categories. So everything that you categorize here and goes in the tax statement is already is in line with HMRC's expectations. So you don't have more work to do to then realign them again. Yeah.
So I guess to that point, so you can see, that there's like probably maybe 100 different categories you can choose on Hammock, but especially for your self-assessment, based on the way you categorize things here, it automatically feeds into the correct box in your tax statement. So if I pop over here again, go into my personal properties, based on the way that I've been categorizing my bank feed, it fills in these 8 boxes. And these are the boxes that you and your accountant need to actually file your taxes. So all of that is automated.
Brilliant. I've got another one from AP, whose question you complimented last time. So I've got high expectations for this one. They've asked, what sort of security is applied to the software as it will be linking to bank accounts?
Yeah, so I mean, we are FCA regulated, I guess is the first thing to say. So we're regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, but we take security extremely seriously. If you go to our website, you will find reams and reams around it. We effectively have bank grade security on this. So yeah, and we use for our open banking, we actually use the UK's #1 provider. So again, that you're getting the best service.
Brilliant. Paul's asked, can you change the year dates for accounts, as my property accounts year are different to the 6th of April?
Yeah, so again, that's all. You do all of that in your portfolios. So I think I showed you, I've got 3 portfolios in here. Now, if I go to my portfolio section, just click in here, you can see I've got my different ones here. If I go into my limited company, for example, I can just click here where it says company details, and then just set my tax year. So tax year start date, if you can put whatever you like, just hit update, and then that will be reflected for any properties that are in that portfolio. That's the tax year date it will use.
And guess what? This is a new thing we released 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
Thank God we did the webinar this week and not 3 weeks.
Just in time.
I've got another question from AP. He's turning out to be my favourite guest tonight. But before that, I just want to read out Bernie's question. Bernie said, James, I've said this to you before, but there is a typo on your prices screen. Your price point is far too small for the value you are delivering. I would strongly recommend this software to anyone like me who leaves the self-assessment far, far too late.
Yeah, well, I did see Bernie's name pop up, and I think I personally actually helped Bernie get set up when he joined, and he did say that to me, that our prices are too low, but they are, the prices are the prices. So you know, I love that. That's amazing feedback. But yeah, it is a good value, and there's nothing more I can say than that, really.
James, he's mentioned it twice now, so the least you can do is double its pricing for him.
Yeah, I did actually. I think on that call, I did say to him, "Look, Bernie, if you really want to pay more, I can put it up for you."
So, right, going back to AP's question, if you have spreadsheets set up for past tax years, can you import, upload these spreadsheets data into the software? That might be the same question as we were asked before.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, that might tie into the CSV upload. But what I would probably say is you don't really need to, because as soon as you connect your bank account, I think you saw how easily I tracked all of those, the rent payments. As soon as you track one transaction in Hammock, it will tell you if it's found similar ones. And then once you've tracked those, that then kicks off the automation. So I think really you just pick a date. If you just want to go back to this April, then you just track your transactions back to this April, and then they say going forward, it will just go automatically.
Keith, what if you've got more than one bank account?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just click here and go add bank account, and you can add as many as you like.
And one of our key, when we created Hammock, one of our main ideas was, let's stop having all these transactions spread across different accounts for different properties. And, you just bring them all in one place. You can filter, track them, and, you don't have to worry about paper statements flying around anywhere.
That's a very good segue for me, Marco, because you've essentially said you wanted Hammock to stop with the fiddliness of, previous methods of doing things. So I wanted to ask Paul Hilliard, since he's on the call, because I know that he's a customer of yours, and he's actually the guy that introduced Hammock to LMPG. Paul, you were using this a few months ago. I think you were just getting set up probably about a year ago. How fiddly is it? How often do you go back and have to change things or correct things or whatever it is? How much attention do you have to pay to Hammock on a sort of monthly basis, really?
I think what I would say, if you can hear me, as I've just got plane landing.
One of yours, is it?
It's just landing in the helipad. That's why I like the idea of the helipads. I must tie up with you on that. The vast majority of the transactions are picked up automatically, and I've got either 7 or 8 bank accounts linked to Hammock. So my portfolio is very complicated. I think I've got 10 different analysis of portfolio on there, and every so often I would go back and say, "Oh, I've analysed it as this. I want to change my mind." Bang, and it's so simple. So it is literally just as James showed you. You just go in, edit, change the title, change the transaction. Happy days. The one thing I wanted to ask James was that I love that idea of the manual, because I've seen that and I thought, I must use that one of the days. But if I did it on the mobile app, would I then be able to take photos of the receipts and put that through? Because can you do that on the web page or not? Yeah, so it's all cloud-based. So everything is synced together. So anything you do on the mobile, you'll see here, and anything you do here will be on the mobile. So right. If you add a manual transaction and you want to attach the receipt, you can do exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, going back to the question, basically, Hammock are my online bookkeeper, tax accountant, banker, totally looked after financially. So when I came across them, I thought, at last somebody understands me. because I've looked at others, and I won't name them on here. Some people have mentioned a couple earlier in the chat line. They didn't give me everything I needed, and I think this was the closest that I could find to give me everything I needed. So thanks to Marco, thanks to James, and thanks to Minaj. I'm
going to drill into that a little bit, Paul, because you're right, and I've not read out some of these, not really questions, but they're, you know.
Can I ask a question?
One or two. Hold on, Nick.
Okay.
So I just want to ask, Paul, you said there that the other systems, and we all know what they are, you didn't feel like they really understood you. Now, what's different with Hammock?
I'd say the flexibility, the fact that it can cater for all the bank accounts that I've got, all the portfolios that I've got, all the different, you know, I like the idea, you know, as James alluded to earlier, you know, I have a lot of, I've got a dozen HMOs. So putting those into one of the competitors would have been absolutely horrendous. You know, 60, over 60 units just going in. I'm thinking, you know, why am I being penalised for being a landlord? So I don't think Hammock penalises you as a landlord, you know, in that way. And that's what, you know, another way I liked the way they adopted things. They also do it that, you know, they treat everyone equally. If you went to, again, in one of the competitors, they turned around and said to me, we don't want your smaller unit company people, because they're just going to clog up the system, they clog up asking us questions, and we'll only be collecting £1 or £2, you know, £2 a month off them, and we don't want to, you know, that's not the customer database they wanted. Whereas Hammock are, you know, an inclusive business. You know, they've said, because I did point out to them, you know, be careful, because 99p a month is nothing, and they said doesn't matter. You know, that I think they recognise that most LMPG landlords join us because they're growing their portfolio. So yeah.
Brilliant. Nick, go on. Sorry I interrupted you there.
No. Yeah. Paul, how long have you been with Hammock? Is it 2 years, 18 months now?
No. That's less tax. I've been with that long. I've been with it less tax for landlords 3 years now.
Yeah. How long have you been with this lot?
I've been with Hammock since the beginning. Well, not quite the beginning. Just I'd say beginning of the year, was it roughly?
Yeah.
It was about right.
Something like that.
And there's a lockdown. Yeah. Like, I didn't hear from Paul last year either, April, because February, March, you never heard from Paul, and every time you rang him, all he was doing was these effing tax returns, all this and all that. I've known Paul now probably coming up for 12 years, and every year, and I said, Paul, why do you leave it to the last 2 months? Yeah, I know. I've got to get myself organised. He was the biggest stroppy git you ever. Don't speak to Paul in February and March.
No,
yeah?
December
Go and ask
January.
his wife. Go and ask his wife.
December and January were chronic. Yeah. Yeah.
And I haven't heard him moan this year. Not once. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Is that because of Hammock?
I'd say 90% of it, yeah. Probably 100%. It really is what you need if you're not, I was going to say, I'll be derogatory, an organised landlord. If you're not an organised landlord, this sorts you out. It makes you get organised, and it makes you get on top of it. And as Marco mentioned, you know, in a couple of years' time, you've got to be on top of things, because making tax digital, you've got to give your quarterly returns. And, you know, if you make mistakes on a regular basis, the taxman can guarantee he's going to come knocking on your door saying, well, you seem to be changing your quarterly returns every quarter. I think we need to have a closer look at you. And of course, we'll go back 6 years just to check up on things. So,
and I'm not making it up. Sorry for putting you on the spot there, Paul, because I've kept my mouth shut on this one. Yeah, I love tripping Paul up, because he was pieces of paper he couldn't find. He couldn't find this, he couldn't find that. So if that digitized you and organized you, Paul, with the amount of properties that you've got, then absolutely, this is a great deal for members. And Hammock giving the amount off for members is really, really good. And thank you for that. That's good. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put a testimonial on the website. This Hammock stops Paul being a git in February.
Oh, he was such a stroppy git. He really was. Oh, dear me. Sorry for tripping you up there, Paul, but I enjoyed that moment. I'm going to mute myself now and turn the camera off. Yeah.
I sort of, if in case Nick had dropped me in it by saying I'll or just introduce the guys. One of the things I noted was to say, Hammock makes it so difficult to mess things up that I put it down as it's considered to be Hilliard proof. So there you go. There you go. So what more can you say? If you leave things to the last minute, then this certainly stops you doing that. Because I was away a couple of days last week, come back, press the button and looked at my thing, Hammock, and everything's there. And I thought, wow, I think within an hour I'd sort out any loose ends and happy days. It really is a godsend.
That's great to hear. That really is.
And some of the things that you've done, brilliant. I'll be looking at those in detail. Thank you. These property evaluations, I've looked at doing that, and I know I personally know, I've come across Sprift, is it how you say it?
Yeah.
In the past, because I think even Anthony's, you've seen them. Yeah, that's the guy with the beach shorts.
Was it him?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
yeah, I've seen them a couple of times.
Hopefully he's not on there. But yeah, I've looked at that Sprift before and thought, crikey, that's nice, but it's a lot of money. So you're offering that to our landlords for nothing. Absolutely, brilliant. I assume you're offering it for nothing.
Yeah, that's for nothing, just for LMPG members, to be fair. Okay. Yeah, for you guys, yes, it's free.
Excellent. But that is really good. The property valuations, the information you provide, especially if you're on an acquisition road, then that will be really useful. So well done, and thanks for organising that.
Cheers, Paul.
Well, I think that's a great way to end that section then. I've not got any more questions. What I do have are a couple of people that have been messaging on Facebook, in the chat, and everywhere else as well, saying it looks fantastic and they'll be looking into it. Luke on Facebook here says, brilliant software. I'll be signing up my portfolio. So looks like we're onto a winner here. So thank you very much, James.
Thanks for having us.
And Marco, of course. But
one thing that James didn't mention, that he showed you transactions. If you're doing multiple a single transaction to pay, say, all your council tax in one go, you can split say it was £5,000, you can split that and analyze it by the relevant properties, even though it's a one transaction. So just it's amazing what this software can do for you. So I'm blown over by it. So over to you, Anthony.
Thank you. I didn't know if there was any more, because I remember James showing me that actually in the sort of test that we do running up to this. I am right, James, in thinking that when you sign people up, you actually sit down with them and take them through the software one-on-one anyway, and all the nooks and crannies that you've got.
Yeah. So when you sign up to Hammock, I say it's a very simple system to use. So I think for most landlords, you sign up, you add your properties, you connect your bank account, and off you go. If your account is as complicated as Paul, it might be a different matter. But anyone who signs up, we offer a 30-day free trial. But then even beyond that, somebody will contact you from our onboarding team, see how you're getting on, and if you do require any help, it will be offered. And it will be very much like this over Zoom.
If you go to the page where we showed before, use hammock.com/LMPG, you can book yourself in directly for a call. If you want to jump directly to talking to us, you can do that, or you can just ring us up. We got a phone number, we got an email address. We also have a live chat on the website. So you can always find us.
You've even got it on your t-shirt, Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's of course all on the LMPG website as well. So thanks again, guys. It's been really, really good to see all the changes that you guys have been making over the last 6 months or so, I guess it's been. Surely a lot more to come as well. Nick, if you're still there, I'm heading into what is now known as the outro. So I need you to wake up so I can tell you what we've got next week.
Yeah, I'm here. I've been here all the time. But just if I'm on the camera, I can't shut up. So what I do is I've muted myself. Yeah, I've sat here and drank my cup of tea. Yeah, as normal. And Paul was running this one because he introduced them and he ain't said a bloody word.
Well,
You obviously haven't been here because I've been talking non-stop.
Yes.
Oh, for the last 5-10 minutes you have. Yeah, I think it's great. I really do think it's good. I like it. Yes, if I didn't have David, I'd be using the system.
Yeah. Oh, and the personal thing, happy birthday, Manoj, and that's why he can't join us today. He's celebrating his birthday.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Over to you, Anthony.
Nick, next week we've got I didn't know whether you wanted all to sing that, Paul.
Yeah.
Next week we've got
Energy.
No, we've not got energy. That's the week afterwards.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I'm talking about as well. But before we talk about that, we have got your mate, Edward Sloan of iTours Pro, who's been on before, but he didn't talk at all about iTours Pro. So
this is about taking pictures of your properties and screening it and digitizing it and all that. Am I correct?
That's Nick speak for virtual tours.
Yeah, digitizing your
It's a software platform.
Don't use any of that stuff. You know me. Well, give me a bit of timber, give me a kitchen, or give me a boiler. I know what I'm talking about. But that, see, you're moving into areas that is foreign to me.
Well, you know what? You set him up.
LMPG wasn't set up for any of this. You lot keep dragging these people in, IT people and technical and bank accounts and sorting Paul out.
The good thing about it, Nick, is that unlike a boiler, it's actually really interesting to have a look at and pull apart. So we'll be going through exactly how to put the tours together, what they look like, and how advantageous they will be for laying out properties, particularly during the pandemic, which we're now over, until the fourth wave this winter, which will be very exciting.
No, and absolutely. But one of the other things is we're going to try something. Is it this next week? We're going to try it because it's about typing all the questions in. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to open up. Instead of you type in, he's asking questions directly.
Exactly. So I never have to again have a follow-up question where I say I have no idea what the question means. So I keep going.
No, absolutely. We're going to trial it. Yes. Don't know if it's going to work because we want to get people interacting with each other because we quite like the idea of that. But also, anybody really would like to talk about or you would like to have on our webinars for next year, because this one's up until December, the whole of November, and then we stop, and then this will start up next year. So we'd like to put some content in that members would like. Yeah. So if you've got any ideas or you would like on a particular subject, please don't hesitate to email Anthony or Gareth. Yeah, no, Gareth, we'll pick on Gareth today. Gareth at lmpg.co.uk. Gareth, if you put your email address in the box, that'd be good. Keep him busy. And the reason why you've been punished today, Gareth, I saw the what was the Facebook group. How many ways do you have to call me thick or stupid?
Wasn't actually
only scratched the surface.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna try that next week. So yeah, virtual. What do you call it? Virtual.
Tours.
Pro Tours is what they call it. Tours Pro. One of the other.
Can that would really be? And the following week, because energy seems to be on everybody's on kind of landlords and HMO people, we've got an energy expert. Would that be fair to say, Anthony?
We've got a mentalist, Nick. because this guy phoned us up in the middle of the energy crisis and said, now would be a great time to talk about switching landlords' energy quotes over. And I thought, what is going on? So I sat down, I had a chat with him. He's actually he's actually a lot more sensible than he first seemed to be. And I couldn't find any holes in what he was saying at all. It all made sense. So I said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put you in front of the landlords themselves. And either it's going to go very well or it's going to go very badly. And he said, I'm open to that because he genuinely believes he's got a fantastic proposition. So we're going to be putting him through the ringer. He's aware of all this. John Devine of TCD Energy, and that's going to be in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that'd be really, really good as well. Did you see Paul suddenly lean forward because he went, oh, I might be interested in that one. If it's about saving money, Hilliard's there, I tell you.
Well, what John said to me is that, so he's not an energy broker, he's an energy consultancy, but one of the first things he said is that energy brokers have got an awful reputation and it's well earned. And I couldn't agree with him more, to be honest. We've turned away a lot in the past.
Yeah, we have.
We've never liked the risk of it.
No. So great. That's brilliant. Right, I've got to go because I've got another webinar to do. Yeah, so I'm going to say good night to everybody. Paul, and you can wrap up.
This is wrapping up, Nick.
Oh, is it?
I don't know what you think we're talking about after you leave.
Okay, Paul, are you coming on the next one? Sorry.
No.
Yeah, love me with it. Yeah, I'm going to go and talk to China now.
If you want me to, I will, but
no, don't worry. Anyway, I'd like to say good night to everybody. It's been brilliant, and thank you, Hammock, for coming on and doing a great presentation. Thank you for the level of discount that you're giving members. Really do appreciate that. Honestly, I really do. And on behalf of our members and myself, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I'm off. I'll speak to you all. I'll see you tomorrow, Anthony.
thanks, James.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Bye, everybody.